Hi, you guys. I wanted to make a quick video basically discussing why it is so difficult to sell art right now as an artist. Okay, I have been an illustrator for quite a long time. I started with just on a daily basis sketching things, drawing. I don't have the best hand on paper because I'm very heavy handed. So I draw on Krita, which makes it so that my hand is kind of lighter than it would be. But I tend to press very hard when I'm drawing. So, anyways, long story short, let's talk about why it is so hard right now to sell your art, to sell it on um, clothing and things like that. The number one thing and reason that art is so hard to sell right now is that I'm going to take you back to Greek times versus any other time in history. The reason why the Greeks were so skilled and good at selling art was because their society was thriving. And there was two reasons. It was mainly education and that there was a place for people to buy the art because the economy was doing well. So this is the main reason as to why art does well. It goes down and comes down to the fact that if an economy is doing well, then artists can thrive. And that's why we see so much of this situation where we have even some musical artists that are saying it's not paying unless they sell tickets for a tour. And it used to be that not every single time that an artist released an album, they would go on long tours like what we see now. And it's become that because people are so, um, I would say, not able to buy their music. And so the only way that they are able to sell the ticket is to sell people a once in a lifetime experience. And when you have a global platform, you have the ability to reach a larger target market and are able to still make those ticket sales. So that brings me to the fact that our economy directly affects the incomes of artists. This is tried and true and known. So it's kind of irritating when you're a small artist out here trying to do it all by yourself, because a lot of what we see in the world is a lot of what happened to Cassie. And if you don't know who Cassie is, just type in Cassie and you know Cassie scandal and what happened to her. That's what happens to a lot of artists out here. Let's not be naive. And I'm not just saying in the physical sense, I'm saying in the actual digital sense, where, for example, I uploaded a book into a distributor. I was promised that I would retain all rights to my book and all of this stuff. And before I knew it, the book had been basically, the file for the book was on there, but it was also now appearing in all of these other distribution channels, which weren't actually the distribution channels that had been approved by the distributor. So before you knew it, it was completely stolen. Someone was selling it somewhere in, India and making a lot of money off of it. Did I ever see a dime from that book? The answer is no. And I worked so hard for so long writing that book, formatting that book for distribution, getting the copyright for that book. I mean, doing everything that it took to get that book going. And it's crazy because even now, especially in the state of California, you're not going to see a dime from any of these distributors anymore, because now you are considered an employee if they do business with you, instead of you being considered an artist, basically self-employed artist that could, you know, just say this is royalties. And even though you are not necessarily yourself selling something and it's a company, you're middleman that sells the product to the public, to the country or whatever, you're still going to be treated in this manner. And that brings me to, again, California, a land of artists that no longer is for artists. So you have a lot of loss of jobs that were there, where even though people weren't making a substantial amount of income, they were still making maybe like $25 here and there every month, because you have to hit a certain threshold of income coming, or not income, but what would you call it, revenue coming in every single month from some of these distributors, and then they have to take their cut, and then they give you a percentage because it's a contract, and you get a little percentage of that. And then from that amount, if you make over the threshold, then you get paid out. So do you understand how complicated it is, and how much goes into just being paid for your work as an artist? And it's crazy to see this market lost, and also everything that President Trump has been doing, that I question if he even understands the impact of his decisions and the decisions of all these people here in California. I wonder if they understand the impact of what they have done to people in California, and not just people in California, but in general, because this is now, it's like stepping on people's dreams, is how I describe it. But thank you so much for watching, and take care of yourselves.